drop in the ocean, a change in the weather, was praying that you and me might end up together, wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven. Don't wanna waste the weekend. If you don't love me, pretend. A few more hours, then it's time to go. As the train rolls down the East Coast, I wonder how you keep it warm. Too late to cry, too broken to move on. And still I can't let you be. Most nights I hardly sleep. Don't take what you don't need from me. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather, was praying that you and me might end up together, wishing for rain as I stand in the desert, but I'm holding you closer than most, 'cause you are my heaven. Best place trust in old friends who never count regrets. For the grace of God, I do not rest at all. The New England days, the leaves change. The last excuse that I'll claim was a boy who loved a woman like a little girl, and still I can't let you be. Most nights I hardly sleep. Don't take what you don't need from me. It's just a drop in the ocean, a change in the weather. I was praying that you and me might end up together, wishing for rain as I stayed 1,000 miles of comfort.
And Kathy and Ed Burns, Laura and I welcome you, family and friends, to the beautiful state of Vermont and to this gathering where Caitrin Watson and Brad Burns will be joined together in marriage. Please be seated. Caitrin, that is a beautiful dress. Oh my gosh. It's so gorgeous, honey. If some of you haven't heard the story behind Caitrin's dress, please ask her about it later. It's quite a story, and it's gorgeous. Brad, nice haircut. Why don't you stand next to Caitrin, Brad? Friends, as most of you know, Kate and Brad met at Brown University about 8 years ago. Ample time, I believe, for them to have kicked each other's tires a bit and appear here today with a reasonable degree of confidence that they are not at all rushing into this prematurely. And during these 8 years or so, I must say it has been Laura's and my delight to get to know Brad quite well. We think he's a pretty swell guy, and we're thankful for Kathy and Ed for raising such a gentleman. In fact, I personally had a very good feeling about Brad quite early on in their relationship. I really liked the guy and was especially impressed by how much he seemed to care for Caitrin. Kate thought more that I liked Brad because he reminded me of myself. Perhaps. But either way, I thought that Brad just might be the right guy for my daughter. But then one evening, about 6 years ago, Caitrin called from school. She was a little upset. She told me that Brad had given her the boot, and they wouldn't be seeing each other anymore. Now, my words to Caitrin were something kind and fatherly, like, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry." Meanwhile, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Luckily, I was able to get a hold of myself, and despite my state of desperation, I calmly suggested to Caitrin that try to have a farewell lunch together where perhaps she and Brad could agree to at least remain friends and thereby buy me a little bit more time to figure things out. Well, they had that lunch, and perhaps a bit more, since they decided to stay together after all. And needless to say, Caitrin and I were both very relieved. And so it is with great excitement and pleasure that today Laura and I gladly offer our daughter Caitrin into marriage with Brad. Friends, we're here on this site today not only because my daughter is a nature nut, but also because this view here can symbolize for us the possibilities of Brad and Caitrin's future together. The grass and the trees in the foreground are just ahead of us, just a few simple steps and we're there, just like their honeymoons in Italy next week and Brad's new job at Google. The farm and the hillside, in the hillside homes in the middle ground, they're discernible but a little bit farther away. They'll take a little longer to reach and the details are fuzzy, kind of like the next steps in your careers and the decisions that you'll make together as a family. And then in the distant hills, they're fuzzier still, but like your lives together further down the road, they're enticing enough for you to dream big about what might be out there, the exciting journey that we'll have along the way. And so with this gorgeous view as a backdrop, and with great anticipation of your exciting future together, let's do this. Starting things off, Brad's cousin Mariah will come now and read a familiar poem selected by the family. Mariah?
One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes of his life. For each scene, he noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him, the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, and he looked back at the footprints in the sand, he noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there are only one set of footprints. I don't understand. When I needed you most, why would you leave me? The Lord replied, my son, my precious child, I love you and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you.
Brad and Caitrin, whether one looks on the marriage vows as a commitment made in faith before God, or as a commitment made simply in the affectionate witness of dear family and friends, these vows are a most solemn commitment indeed, one not to be entered into lightly. You must know that you must enter this commitment knowing that marriage is filled with both highs and lows, victories as well as challenges, milestones, and sometimes setbacks. In fact, I would note that even the almost 35 years of nearly pure bliss that Laura and I have shared together so far have not been without the occasional rough spot, at each of which I seem to recall I was always quick to forgive. Seriously though, guys, your marriage, any marriage, can only succeed if both of you are willing to trust, forgive, love, nurture, encourage, protect, and support each other faithfully and over the long haul. And likewise, when the time comes, you will both need to welcome, love, and nurture together children that your union may bring. It's hard work sometimes, especially with those children. But I can promise you that the fruit of a strong and healthy marriage is sweet indeed and well worth the effort. When your spouse becomes your best friend, and when your roommate becomes your soulmate, and when your lover is also your partner through thick and thin, then you will know the rich rewards and many blessings of your labors in love. But don't think of marriage as a destination. It's not something to achieve and rest on the glory. It's rather an epic journey, a lifelong adventure, one in which you learn along the way while you take in the sights and savor its experiences. And as you both continue the work of nurturing the marriage over the long haul, your labors will surely bear much fruit. Now, Brad and Caitrin, are you both ready to enter into this kind of a commitment together today? If so, answer together, we are.
We are.
Wonderful. As you both stand here now, ready to make this very important commitment to each other, I want you both to know that I'm very proud of both of you. Caitrin, perhaps the most meaningful compliment that you could give, this is the tough part right here, the most meaningful compliment that you could give to your mother and me is wanting to enter into the same kind of commitment to your spouse that we have made and kept to each other for these 35 years. I know that we have not always done it perfectly, but we have given it our best. And that you would want to do likewise is both humbling and inspiring. Thank you. And Brad, my wife and 2 daughters are the most dear things in my life. And I'm deeply honored and grateful that you would want to love and care for Caitrin and take her as your lifelong friend, partner, and wife. Thank you. So then, Brad, do you now indeed have Caitrin to be your wedded wife? And do you promise to live together with her in marriage, to love her, comfort her, honor her, and keep her and only her as long as you both shall live? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And Caitrin, do you likewise have Brad to be your wedded husband? And do you promise to live together with him in marriage, to love him, comfort him, honor and keep him and only him as long as you both shall live? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
Very well. Having both stated your intentions to marry before your family and friends, will you now make your vows of commitment to each other? Please face each other. And Brad, you get to go first.
My darling Caitrin, you are beyond everything I could have ever wanted, and a best friend, a partner, and soon, a wife. You are both strong and caring, both ambitious and humble, and while you have a formidable intelligence, your genuine way of putting people at ease wins you friends in every room that you enter. By sharing your love with me, I feel like you have given me the entire world and more. I would trade no man's treasure for the past 8 years nor the rest of our time. While I would give you the world in kind, if I had it, the truth is, all I am able to vow to you is me. And so today I vow myself to you in totality, without precondition, without limitation, without exclusion. I vow my love to you in every step I take, with every shred of my being, in this moment and in every other moment from now until long after I am gone. Because while I do not know what tomorrow brings, I know that I will always love you. My love for you is all I truly have to give, and so I pledge it to you on this mountain with all of our friends and family as witnesses from now until the end of time. no matter what happens, we will be okay. There's some fine print. Also included in these vows are a lifetime subscription to my kitchen experiments, regular factoids about obscure topics that pose very little relevance to your daily life, and all the pickles. Every last one.
Oh, well done, Brad. Well done. And now, Caitrin. That's a tough act to follow. And now, Caitrin. You can just say, you're pretty swell, Brad.
That was really hard act to follow. I, Caitrin, take you, Brad, to be my husband. I've never been more sure about any decision in my life than I am about marrying you today. Through the years, we've grown inextricably together. I can't imagine living the rest of my life without you by my side. You are my soulmate, my confidant, my other half. You are the yin to my yang. You complete me, you balance me out, and you help me to grow into a better person every day. In marriage, I vow to love you unconditionally and stand faithfully by your side in all things, as you have always stood by me. You are the most patient, gracious, supportive person I know, and I cannot imagine a better partner with whom to bear the rest of life's journeys with. I pledge to always support you in this life we are building together, whether that means providing encouragement or perhaps advising an alternative approach at times. I vow to always be open and honest with you. When we disagree, I vow to hear your side fully, treat it with respect, and weigh it equally to my own, as we both have the best intentions at heart in this life we're building. I vow never to shut you down, but to work towards a place of common understanding that strengthens our bond with every trial we face. I promise to rejoice with you in your triumphs, and when the hardships come, I vow never to abandon you, but to pull you back to your feet when you stumble, and whether you like it or not, I will carry you when you can no longer stand. And as I know you would do for me. So for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, we will have each other. And I know that no matter what, we will be okay. All these things I vow to you as long as we both vow.
Well done, honey. I hope y'all were taking notes. Okay, wow. Okay, well, you've both done very well so far. I expected nothing less than for such fine folks as yourselves. I'm sure it's the good breeding. Now it's time to seal your vows by the giving and receiving of rings. Rings are sacred and traditional symbols, signaling to others that you are in an exclusive relationship and commitment with your spouse. The precious metal reminds us of the high value of your love for one another, and the ring's infinite circle reminds us of your lasting promises. Do we have the rings, Owen? Great. The rings, by the way, are very beautiful, and Brad and Caitrin, I'm not sure quite the proportions. Probably mostly Brad designed them, so definitely check them out later. Now, Brad, having made your vows to Caitrin and before these witnesses, I give you this ring to place on her finger as both a symbol and promise to receive her into your care. Are you ready? Okay, please repeat after me as you place the ring on Caitrin's finger. Caitrin, this ring I give you.
Caitrin, this ring I give you.
As a constant reminder.
As a constant reminder.
Of my abiding love.
My abiding love.
And steadfast commitment.
And steadfast commitment.
Awesome. And now, Caitrin, having made your vows to Brad and before these witnesses, I give you this ring to place on his finger as both a symbol and promise to receive him into your love and care. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, please repeat after me as you place the ring on Brad's finger. Brad, this ring I give you
Brad, this ring I give you
as a constant reminder
as a constant reminder
of my abiding love
of my abiding love
and steadfast commitment.
and steadfast commitment.
Well done. Well, this is it, guys. Audience, cameras ready. The moment that your adventure begins together. Also confetti ready, if that's a part of the picture. Savor the moment. Take one last deep breath as single people. Now then, Brad and Caitrin, having made your vows before these witnesses and to one another, and having sealed your vows with rings, it is then my great pleasure, by the authority of the state of Vermont, that I now pronounce you husband and wife. Brad, you may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, Bradley and Caitrin Burns. Friends, just a word of instruction before we go out. We'll have a chance to meet the couple properly back at the Echo Lake Inn. There will be a party waiting for us. The wedding party will take a few more minutes, as if we haven't had enough already, to take a few short photos, and then we'll meet you back there. I ask you all, just take your time getting out of here, because I know we're all kind of parked on top of each other. Most important thing, as you're driving back, beware the speed limit, because the local police have quite an affinity for out-of-state plates. Okay? All right, Noel and Kevin, take us out of here.
Boy, if you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. But you can make it. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No, no, no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be. No, 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 no. No place I'd rather be.
Oh, don't drop it off.
There are